I have been watching anime for 10 years now. The number itself isn't that impressive, but it's almost half my life at this point. And in my time, I have seen the good, the bad, the really bad. And after watching hundreds of shows, you develop a sixth sense. You can just tell when a show has it. You know it when you see it. It's what separates the good from the great. Haikyuu has it, Mushoku Tensei has it, Attack on Titan has it, had it, and Shangri-La Frontier has it. The form that it takes changes depending on the show. For Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, it is the plot. For the Monogatari series, it is the characters. For Hunter x Hunter, it is everything. And for Keijo, it is... The form that it takes for Shangri-La Frontier is a rare one. It's one that I have only seen a handful of times. It is world building. The world of Shangri-La Frontier is vast and has a myriad of different landscapes and biomes, from marshlands to forests to ancient ruins to a kingdom of rabbits that are all related. Gross. Every area is very detailed and microcosmically makes a lot of sense. Like how you can't sprint in the marshlands, or that not all the mobs that spawn in the forest are friendly with each other. And because the areas are so well thought out, it allows for a lot of creativity. The solution to clear each area isn't always hit the boss really hard. You can actually use environmental factors or physics and biology to create an effective strategy. Every area is interesting, fun, or really annoying with their own idiosyncrasies. The enemies are also very well thought out. Not only do they fit very well into their context, they are also appropriately powerful. Every area boss embodies the essence of the area and has some sort of gimmick that makes them tricky to defeat. Rare enemies are a noticeable step up from area bosses, with significantly less weaknesses and more powerful mechanics. The Golden Scorpion does good damage, has good defense, is fast, has long-range AoE attacks, and can heal. You'd have an easier time naming the things it doesn't do. But even above them are the unique monsters. Of the ones we've encountered so far, Lycagon the Night Slayer is the manifestation of darkness. Sake, man, I hate names. Katanid of the Abyss can overturn anything, including death itself, and the Tomb God Weathermon is the strongest warrior from the era of divinity. What they all have in common is that they seem absolutely impossible to beat. Strongest ever and death manipulation aside, how the hell do you beat the darkness? And the gameplay matches their status. To fight Weathermon, there is a level cap of 50, against a level 200 enemy. Evading his attacks takes almost frame-perfect dodging, and you have to survive like that for 10 minutes. Twice, and for those 20 minutes, Weathermon cannot be damaged nor staggered. And after surviving all of that, you have to survive an unavoidable, equipment-breaking, one-shot attack. He will keep using the attack until you survive it. Lycagon only has one particularly troublesome mechanic, and that is her invisible attacks. But the real problem is her smart AI. She will adjust to patterns, exploit weaknesses, and set traps. There's no consistent strategy to beating her. It's hard to tell what abilities she even has, let alone the one she's gonna use. Having to continuously adjust against an enemy as powerful as her without falling into any of her traps is the real problem. Beating a unique monster is truly a Herculean task, as it should be. In every sense, they are worthy of the title, the Seven Colossi. But there's one other very important aspect to world building: lore. Setting and inhabitants are very important, but what happened? How did things come to be the way that they are? And in this extremely detailed world with 30 million people exploring every single nook and cranny, we know pretty much nothing. Here's what we know so far. There was an advanced civilization 1000 years ago called the Divinity that got completely wiped out. Weathermon is from that era, so is Setsuna. Vash knows Weathermon, so he was probably there too. Vash and Setsuna know Lycagon, but she was probably young at the time. Alice existed? Amel is the descendant of Cinderella, who was also there because Setsuna knows her and is probably connected to one of the other undiscovered colossi, and who the f*** is Bahamut? Needless to say, we don't really know what's going on. Not only do we have very little information, it's also very disjointed. But everything we do know seems to be linked to the 7 colossi. And so, the message from the devs is very clear. If you want to know what's going on, beat the game. All the information we have so far was gained as part of the process of challenging the colossi. In fact, it is the process. The key to Shangri-La Frontier lies in the story. Uncovering the lore is inextricably linked to beating the unique monsters. It makes the lore really exciting and engaging to uncover. You can't help but to get invested. It would not be an understatement to say that Shangri-La Frontier is the greatest game ever created. Every single aspect of it seems perfect. But the show is not about the game, it's about the people playing. Naturally, the greatest game ever is very popular and has a lot of players, which means that there is a lot of discussion happening and information floats around, to the point that an area boss that used to give a full party a lot of trouble can be easily cleared in 1 minute. And because there are so many players and so many things to do, there are many different kinds of players. Filthy casuals, hardcore gamers, lore groups, clans focused on each colossus, animal lovers, player killers, everyone. Each kind of player or each group has their own objectives and things they value. Because the game is new, and especially because it's scarce, information is very valuable. Having a monopoly on a unique scenario or important information on the colossi is a massive bargaining chip. Managing the information you have access to is very important. And so there is a power struggle between the most influential groups in the game. Even the fun-loving Sanraku got so invested in the politics of the game, he almost passed up an opportunity to challenge a unique monster to maintain the balance of power. The dynamics of the players greatly change how one experiences the world. My favorite example of this is that Weathermon was very clearly not supposed to be the first Colossus defeated. This early in the story, the title of Strongest from the Divinity doesn't actually mean anything. In fact, we didn't even know he was the strongest until it was explicitly told to us by the devs. He was definitely supposed to be defeated closer to the end when we knew more about the divinity. But because of Pensiligon's ungodly levels of preparation, the golden scale which gave them access to stats they weren't supposed to have, and the gaming skills of Sanraku and Oikatsu, Weathermon met his end. And the main reason it even happened is the name of the NPC that gave the quest. If it had been anything other than Setsuna, Pensiligon would not have cared as much as she did. Something as simple as a name changed the trajectory of the entire game. Is it a coincidence? Yeah, obviously. But this is the story of those coincidences. Shangri-La Frontier is about Sanraku's specific experience of the greatest open world game where no two journeys will be the same, and how other people with their own personal ambitions and objectives shape that journey. The game and the players. This is what forms the foundation, the essence, the world of Shangri-La Frontier. World building this good is not something you get to see every day, and I think it deserves some more appreciation. Shangri-La Frontier is underrated. Pretty good. 4 out of 10. Emil is the greatest companion of all time, and it's not even close. She is just so clear from everyone else, it's hardly a discussion. She is undisputed and undefeated. You got beef with her, you got beef with me. We don't play about Emil around these parts, alright? That is my goat. Well, my rabbit, but you get the point.